We live our lives by a code of action. We got to keep busy doing everything that we can to avoid doing nothing. We've been taught that doing nothing is better than doing anything is better than doing nothing. And what I want to talk about today is that while sometimes that's true, there's a lot of times when doing nothing is probably a better option. And to learn about this, that's the power of inaction. We got to understand what action is. Well, action's like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris he's tough. He kicks butt on everything. My hand started bleeding when I drew this picture. That's how tough he is. It's right there in the corner. Well, the thing about action, sometimes we need Chuck Norris, and there's good actions. There's good Chuck. And when we do things that are good, that help other people, help ourselves, or make us happy, that's good actions. Now, there are also the bad kind of actions. And bad actions are when we hurt other people or when we cause harm to ourselves. And this one, we've got the bad action of shock and awe coming down there. Now, there are also another type of action where we think we're doing something good, but we're really doing something bad that's harmful to ourselves and to others. And we can call these mullet actions. You don't get a haircut like this on accident. Actions all have consequences. If we put our hand in the fire, we get burned. We don't always have control over what the consequences are of these actions. Sometimes the consequences are good, sometimes they're bad. We just don't control that side of it. So we just got to be careful there. We also know that whatever action we take, no matter how insignificant it is, it's going to lead to another series of actions or another series of consequences that we also don't have control over. And so when we get to that point, we just don't know where that stuff's going to take us, whatever we do. So if this is true, we've got good and bad actions, and we can't control the consequences. And whatever we do, there could be some consequence in the future that we don't know what it is. Doing nothing or doing anything can't always be better than doing nothing. So let's talk about that. Brings us back to the power of inaction. Inaction, if Chuck Norris is action, inaction is something else. We don't need an action hero. Inaction is the one thing that can kick butt on Chuck Norris. Inaction is also in harmony with the natural order of things. We let things be the way that they need to be. When we disrupt it, then that's the negative kind of inactions, where we allow things to happen that shouldn't happen. Inaction is also powerful because we can turn negative actions into positive ones with little or minimal effort. And that's what we have to look for in inaction. Now, inaction is also, it's incredibly powerful. Where actions like noise, inaction is like turning the volume down. And sometimes that's what we need. We need it to be quiet. We tell people to shut up. That's what we're saying. That's the power of inaction that we need. We need you to shut up. And inaction is also incredibly easy. If you remember, one thing you remember from math, it's that anything times 0 equals 0. My 4-year-old knows this. There's no number that's big enough that 0 doesn't defeat it. Inaction is also infallible. I know you wanted to see this again, so we put it up here again. You don't get this it just doesn't happen. You've got to ask for it to get it this way. And if you just let it grow out, you do nothing, it looks better. So doing nothing is better than doing it. Inaction is also instant. The very second that you decide to do nothing, you're done. You can't beat that. Inaction is also inexpensive. Just like if you don't buy crap that you don't need, you save money. If you don't do crap that you don't need to do, you save time and you save money. Action always costs something to do. So you gotta watch that. Inaction is also, and the computer guys will love this, it's infinitely scalable. You cannot do an infinite number of things simultaneously. On the other hand, you can only do one thing at a time. And so that brings us to the end here, is that nothing sometimes is better than doing just anything. So the next time you're thinking of your actions, remember that inaction is a viable option and that sometimes it might be infinitely better than doing just anything. Thanks.